Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunday morning. It's a little rainy where I am here, but it looks like the skies are going to clear as well. And I hope that you are doing well. This morning's class, I wanted to talk quickly about connection. That's been the theme that I've been looking at through this week. And one of the things that interests me about connection is that connection requires the presence of something. So without being present to something, I find it very hard to have a connection. And so when we bring that to a movement in a yoga sense, it's the things that usually first come up is like, well, how's your connection to your breath? And are you connected to your body? And when we move today, we have an opportunity to always move with the breath, but I'm going to ask you to be kind of pulling and using tension in different ways and getting present to the lines in your body. And can you connect to what it's like to have maybe your spine slightly rounded versus straight? And all of this is towards building our awareness of how we move and how we take up space, and then that sort of helps us to then understand how we interact with others. And through, I think, the continued practice of this, it helps us to then be able to better our understanding of ourselves, and then our not just our physical but our emotional and our mental connection with ourselves and others. So wherever you are, please take a comfortable seat. So let's connect into breath, connect into our weight onto the floor and onto our mat. So take your hands out towards your knees at the end of your thighs. And as you take a deep breath in, lengthen from your hips to your shoulders. And bring your shoulder blades together so your heart comes forwards like a balloon bursting forwards. And then as you exhale, keep the height and the length you've generated and let your legs get heavy. Can you release the tension in your legs? And then let's do that again. Same thing, lengthening spine, feel the crown of your head lift. Maybe the breath comes up the front of your body, and then as you exhale, send it down the back of your body as your shoulder blades sink gently into your spine. Last breath here. Biggest, longest breath you've had so far today. And gentle sigh out. Lift your arms, interlace your thumbs, and then just notice where your arms are. Are they slightly sort of forwards in your gaze? If you can you take your arms back so you can't see them? But do that without just doing it from your ribs. So can you keep your low ribs down to your hips and take your arms back? Now, they may not go back as far as mine, they may go back farther. How far back they go doesn't matter, but I want you to take your triceps out wide so your shoulder blades can come together, and then extend up with your fingers and down with your shoulder blades. And then from this position, I want you to bend at sort of your mid back here. So your hips don't move, but your shoulders start to lean. Long stretch through one side of your body. Doesn't matter which side you've gone to. And then push down through your legs, come up. Feel that your curved spine comes straight, and then curve it again. Keep pushing up through the extended arm. And notice that that same hip may feel like it's coming away from the ground. Can you send it down to the ground? And then come back up. Good, change the interlace of your fingers, of your thumbs. And now let's rotate. So let's come to the left side. So rotate to the left, so pull your belly in. Bring your right ribs around and forwards. And then through to center. And then opposite side. Use your exhalation to pull your belly in. Left ribs are coming around the outside of a circle this time. And then back to center. Take your hands now onto your hips. Create length through your spine. And once again, lean to one side. And notice that the side you lean to, the opposite hip wants to lift. Can you use your hand as feedback and help that hip stay square as you lean? And then up to center. And then opposite side. So if you're leaning to the left, you're feeling your right hip go down towards the floor. Good, and then come up. Take your hands forwards, come to an all fours position. Let's do some segmental cat-cow. So pull your belly up, tuck your tailbone in, and bring your chin to your chest. And spread your shoulder blades wide away from each other. Push down into your hands. Look towards your belly. Keep your chin to your chest as you move your hips, your low back, your mid back into extension, then your upper back. Feel your heart come forwards more than just squeezing your shoulder blades together. And then the last thing that comes up is the top of your head. To reverse that, the wave comes from chin to chest, through shoulders to ceiling, through ribs to ceiling, through low back to ceiling, tailbone tucking to nose. One more time. Hips, roll one segment of spine at a time. Take it as slow as you can. Keep your chin to your chest until the very last. And then from chin, roll through to shoulders. Roll through to mid-back, low back, then to spine, then to hips. Staying in this position, we're going to do two more, but we're going to start from the opposite end. So now lift your head, and then slowly work the wave down through your shoulders, through your mid-back, low back. Final thing that happens is your tailbone sticks up in the air like a dog pushing its tail up. And then roll from your hips, keeping the crown of your head high, all the way through your spine to your shoulders, and then chin to chest. Last one. Bring your neck up, back of your head up, tailbone still staying underneath. Lower through your thoracic spine, through your ribs, through your mid-back, low back, and then lift your tail. And then start to work your hips in circles. And then in the opposite direction. So now just your hips. And then pause that. And then can you puff just the back of your ribs to the ceiling, and then just your ribs to the floor. And then just your ribs to the ceiling, and trying to keep here your pelvis still, and then just your ribs to the floor. So connecting with the top half after having connected to the bottom half. Great. Now I want you to just move in any way that feels best for you. It could be through your hips, could be through your spine. Let your knees bend, let your elbows bend, let your arms come in whatever direction you feel that you would like to move in. There's no right answer here. I want you to just play. Close your eyes, connect your breath, your movement, how you feel this Sunday morning. Let your body sway, let your body move. No one's paying any attention to how you look. I'm going to do this for 3 more breaths. So on the third time that you exhale,
find a still position once again. And then I invite you to tuck your toes. Sit your heels back, your hips back towards your heels. Walk your hands to your knees, and then come to sit up onto your toes. Now we won't be here for very long, but we'll do something else to take our mind off of our toes. So take your hands out in front of you and make your arms like a number 11 position. Now without rotating or moving your forearm and without moving your elbow away from your ribs, I want you to focus on movement through your wrist. So make a cupped hand, like you were holding water in your hand. Now if you see your palms doing this, I want you to flatten them. So take your fingers down towards the floor, like you were going to push your palms forwards. And then bring your palms towards your forearms, and notice this is where you'll want to cup your hands, so keep your palms straight. And your hands will come to as far as you can pull them, using the front side of your arms to pull up. And then take your fingers down. And then bring your palms up. Good, and then come back to a sort of a neutral position. Bring your pinky fingers towards each other. And then take your thumbs out away from each other. There might not be so much movement there. And then pinkies in, and then thumbs out. And then come to center. Now we're going to put that all together. So without rotating your forearm, this is the thing. So I want you to look down at your arms as you do this. Bring your fingers in towards each other. Take your fingers down towards the ground. Come up in a circle on your thumb side. It might feel like you're coming straight up, that's fine. And then bring your palms up towards your biceps, and then rotate your fingers towards each other and then down. And watch your forearms as though you had a cup of tea on them and you're not going to spill the tea. And then change directions. Notice to hold everything still. There's lots of tension that gets built up through the body. This is actually good to have because we can help to isolate this single joint. And then give your arms a little bit of a shake. Come forwards off your toes. Now we're going to find a position called puppy pose to get some length from hips through armpits. So from right where you are, I want you to walk your hands as far forwards as they go and keep your bum over your knees. And then as you do that, your head and your torso come down towards the floor. Keep pressure into your hands so that your elbows can stay off the floor, and keep walking forwards. Stick your bum out behind you and create length through your armpits. And then can you find the way to make your hips go back even farther without bending your knees? And I want you to now connect with your breath to the length through your side body, through your hip. Maybe your tailbone tucks a little and sends your hips to the ceiling. Now can you find some rotation in your arms and bring your triceps towards your ears? Feel your collarbones come a little wider and your shoulder blades connect onto your back. Maybe if you're quite comfortable here, some of you may even be able to bring your chin to the floor. Keep your shoulder blades towards your hips, length through the whole side of both sides of your body. Last full breath here. Heart towards the floor. Then on your next inhalation, bring yourself back up. Take your toes together, take your knees wide, and then sit yourself down into a child's pose. So similar position, flexed at the hips, forehead to the ground. Then look to your hands. Bring your shoulders towards your wrists. Your knees may want to come into alignment with each other and let your feet come parallel. And then pressing shoulders over hips, bring your hips slightly forwards and lift your heart. tuck your toes. Push down into your fingers, push your thighs back, downward facing dog. Roll with the hips to ceiling through your spine, bring yourself to a plank position. Now stay on top of your toes, bring your thighs parallel to the ground, and once again, lift your heart so you're in another small back bend. Then take your knees to the floor, push your hips back, child's pose. And then we'll do that again. Look to hands, come up, let your legs come to a parallel position, bring your hips forwards, your thighs may or may not touch the ground, and then tuck your toes. Push your hips back, long through your spine, and still find the length through your armpits and to your hips that you find in puppy pose here in downward facing dog. Let your knees bend to find that. Lift your heels, lift your hips, roll through to a plank position. Bring your thighs parallel to the floor, hips come forward, shoulder blades come together, and you're looking forward. And then take your knees to the floor, push your hips back, child's pose. Now I want you to do that one more time on your own. Can you remember the movement? If you do, great. If you don't, make something up. But connect to how your memory and your movement work. Trust yourself. Next time you're in child's pose, just pause there. So you'd be coming down this way. And as you take a breath in, feel the back of your ribs expand. And then as you exhale, feel the weight come into your thighs, into your shins, as you sink softly into the floor. Lovely. On your next inhalation, walk your hands back to your knees and sit up tall. And then come to a tall kneeling position. Press down through your right knee, take your arms out, and let's see how the balance feels. So I've got the shin and my foot of my right leg pushing down into the floor to help me to take the left foot off. Bring the knee towards 90 degrees. It's a little wobbly, that's perfectly fine. And then plant your foot down. Take your hands to your knee and bring yourself far forwards. And then pull yourself back. Hinge at your hips, take your hands to the floor, at least for this first one, and slowly lower yourself down, sitting onto your right heel. Extend your left leg, pull your toes to your face, walk your hands forwards, lean forwards. Look forwards, maybe adjust your hands slightly. We're coming back up to that first position, hands to knee, hips forwards, and then pulling yourself back. Hands to floor, or maybe your hands stay out this time as you use a little bit more activity through your legs to balance. Slowly lower, extend your left hamstring, pull your toes to your face, reach forwards and then look down. One more time, maybe your hands come off this time. Push into your right shin, pull with your left heel. Big breath in, lifts you up, hands to knee, come forwards. Last one, draw your whole body back as you slowly sit down. Extend pull your toes of your extended leg back, lean forwards. And then last time, inhale, come all the way up. Take your arms out and make fists. It just helps to create a little bit of tension. Push down through your right leg once again. Lift your left leg. And then bring that underneath for balance. Good work. Now let's do the other side. So push down through your left leg and lean to the left slightly. So you can feel it. Then bring right leg through in front. Try to find a position where you plant your foot down versus just your, stopping yourself from falling. Hands to knee, forwards with hips. And then first one on this side, because your knees are different. Take your hands to the floor. Sit down, pull toes to face, lean belly forwards. Help with hands and left leg, so push yourself back up. Bring your hands to your right knee, come forward with your hips. Other hands to the floor or hands free as you pull in with you, pull your belly back. Slowly sit onto your heel, pull your right toes to your face, lean forwards, round through. Right heel pulls, left shin pushes, come up, come forwards. This is the last one of these. And then draw yourself back. Once you're down, pull your toe, extend your spine. Look forwards, use your breath, pull everything into your hips, pull yourself up. Take your arms out, make fists, put your weight into your left side, a little lean. Lift your right leg. Bring your leg down and under. Good, take your left leg out to the side this time. Now some of you may be able to get your toe to the floor, some of you may not, that's totally fine. But I would like you to point your toe versus having it pulled to your hip. Imagine you're pushing your big toe into the floor. Now take your hands to your hips. So you're sort of like almost between two panes of glass right here. Now this front leg, I want you to push it down into the floor. And I want you to bring your right hip forward slightly. Grow tall. And then using your hands on your hips, push your hips away from you as you come forward over your thigh. And then take your right hand to your ribs, and I want you to round and lean down towards your knee and feel how that expands your ribs. And then pull yourself back up so that your ribs are sort of straight on both sides. And then push your hips away and lean from your hips. And then come all the way up. Bring your left leg in. Take your right leg out. So your extended leg is strong. Push your toe to the floor. Your opposite hip, pull it forward slightly. So it's actually a little rotation in your left thigh. Hands to hips. Big, tall, long spine. And then like you're pouring water out of a bowl, push back and down with your front hand and pull your back hand up as you lean. Then take your left hand onto your ribs. Notice that you come first to a straight position. Now I want you to round. I want you to feel the difference of how it is in your ribs. Then with an inhalation, bring your spine back to straight. Feel how you then leave that roundedness, hands back to hip, and see if you can lean from your hips a little bit more towards your thigh. Good. Push down into your heel. Come all the way up. Bring your knees in together. Bring your hands to the floor. Walk your knees behind your hips. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg. And then with an exhalation, round. Bring your knee to your nose. And then plant your foot down and walk it through and forwards between your hands. Press down into the ground. Inhale, come high. Bring your hands to your hips. Draw your thighs into your hips. And then take your arms high. Pull your pelvis in. Pull your low ribs down. Lift your heart. And then see if you can bend your front knee a little bit more. Take your arms out to the side. Rotate your back heel, your left heel down to the floor, and bring yourself around. So now you're in line. So arms out from shoulders, arms over legs. And then watch again, maybe your tailbone sticking out and your belly slightly forwards. So can you tuck your tailbone underneath and pull your low ribs down? Great. Breath in, squeeze your legs like you're pulling everything in together. Feel maybe there's lift through your spine. And then as you exhale, push your mat away and see if there's a little bit lower that you can take your hips. Lean more weight into your back leg. It'll take the pressure out of your front leg. Lovely. Bring your right elbow to your thigh, or forearm to your thigh, and bring your left hand to your hip. Take your left shoulder blade back. So you've got this opening in your heart coming to the side. Good, and then from your hip, take your hand to your ribs, and I want you to curl and make your ribs as round as possible, so you feel that. And then like a string's pulling your right ribs to your right thigh, lower those ribs and see how the left ribs then come back to a straight position. Take your hand to your hip. Maybe you take your arm bicep to your ear now. But if your left shoulder then rolls to the floor, I'd rather you keep your hand to your hip. Last big breath here. Squeeze everything into your core, and then exhale, smile, extend your arms, extend your legs. Fantastic. Inhale, come back up to a warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2 position. Good. On your next exhalation, left hand comes all the way down to the ground. Left heel lifts. Plant your hands. Step back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg. Bring your knee to your chest. Step through and forwards. Inhale into a lunge position. Rotate your right heel to the floor. Exhale, lower your hips. Belly pulls up, low ribs pull down. Arms come out from your shoulders. Take a breath here, squeeze your thighs together. Feel your spine come a little longer. Then as you exhale, pull your feet away from each other. See if your hips can lower. And then bring your left elbow just past your thigh. Bring your right hand to your hip. And bring your left ribs towards your left forearm, long through your spine. Then take your bicep to your ear. One long line on the right side of your body. Big breath in, squeeze legs, firm belly. Then as you exhale, push down into the earth, lift up and extend through your fingers. Think you're 10 feet tall. Inhale, come back to a warrior two position. With an exhalation, right hand rotates all the way to the floor, back heel lifts, hands plant, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, step through and forwards between your hands. Rotate your left heel to the floor and bring your hands to the inside of your front leg. Now if you have a block, this would be the time to put it on the outside edge of your front foot. So with your hands down on the inside, I want you to bend both knees so you can move yourself back and forth a little bit. As you come forwards, straighten your back leg. Come this way. Straighten your back leg. Take your right hand to your block or maybe onto your shin. And then straighten your right leg, push your hips back, take your left hand to your hip, and take your left shoulder blade back. Now quite often here what can happen is trying to get a little lower, we round through the spine. So take your hand to your ribs once again. And then can you lengthen right ribs down to lower here. Maybe you have your hand up here to have long spine, that's perfectly fine. Maybe your hands onto your shin. And then wherever you are, take a breath in. Bring your right ribs forwards, left shoulder blade back, and take your arm up. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Legs squeezed together. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, right ribs forward, left shoulder blade back. Little rotation, look up. Good, bring your top hand back to your hip. Look to the floor. Make your legs a little stronger. If you have a block, pick it up as you come up. And then switch your feet. So now, right foot is parallel with the edge of your mat and left toes are pointing forwards. And put the block down on the opposite side. Bend both your knees, send your hands to the floor, and give yourself a little shimmy back and forth. Fine. Right leg straight. Left hand to block or to shin. And as left leg extends, bring left ribs through as you rotate. Take your right hand onto your ribs and feel, have you rounded your spine? And if you have, bring your spine back to straight. Maybe you take higher on your block. Maybe you take hand onto shin or to thigh. You could even keep hands on hips here and create length and then hinge. The arms are sort of the accessory to this. The base is your legs, so keep them squeezing, pulling into your core and long through your spine. Left ribs come forwards, right shoulder blade goes back. Maybe you look up. Then look down, bring your top hand down. Bring both hands to your hips, and then like you're moving a bowl from pouring to not pouring, pull yourself back up. Take your left toes forwards, and then walk your toes back in to your mat, and then come to stand at the front of your mat. Take your feet nice and wide so you can come into a squat position, and then lower your hips down towards the floor. Take one hand behind you, then the other. Bring your bum onto the floor. Take your hands out, long through your spine, heart coming forwards, and then slowly tuck your tail as you round your spine to come to the floor. Can you keep your toes to the floor? Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but the intention is so important. Connect to what it would take to do that. Then as your body comes all the way down to the ground, bring your knees to your chest, grab your knees and give yourself a hug. Plant your feet onto the floor, take your arms out wide into a T shape, and let your knees fall down to one side. And then come over to the other side. And then do that one more time. So if they come to the left, leave your right shoulder blade to the floor. And then as they come maybe to the right, leave your left shoulder blade to the floor. And then bring your feet to the floor, knees to the ceiling, and extend your legs. Slide your heels along your mat. Let your legs come straight, thighs roll out, feet fall forward, fall out to the side. Bring your arms closer to your sides. Walk your shoulder blades underneath your shoulders. Take a breath in, expand all the way through the front side of your body, and then take a big sigh out. As you release all tension in your body. Allowing yourself to lie on the floor, on your mat. And continue to use your exhalation to connect with the ability for tension to release in your body. And then with a completely still and relaxed body, just let your subconscious take over your breath. There's now nothing to do. Savasana, or as it's also known as corpse pose, is a pose in which it may look like you are just lying on the ground, and essentially you are lying on the ground. And the mental ability to stay present to the calm and relaxed nature that's in your body can oftentimes be the thing that takes a while to connect to. Continued practice. Sometimes your mind may allow itself to just sit. Sometimes it's out. You're making lists, your to-do lists are running wild. Conversations, thoughts, designs, colors. I want you to know that both are okay. And you have an opportunity to connect with just how and what's going on. There's nothing you need to do about any of it. You get to notice, and over time you get to see the sorts of classes, movements that will activate you, stimulate you, and those which will calm you. Take a larger breath in, fill your lungs and pull your diaphragm down. So consciously bring air into your lungs. And then take a deep exhalation as you send energy down your arms to your fingers to your toes. And then with an inhalation, roll on to your favorite side. And then use another breath to come all the way up and sit up. And then bring your hands to your heart. As you inhale, bring your heart to your hands. Connect once again to the length in your spine. And as you exhale, bring your chin to your chest. Let your legs get heavy. And an acknowledgement of yourself. The glory of you as a human being. As a partner, as a parent, as a child, as a sibling, as a cousin, as a protector, as a provider, as a supporter, and as someone who may allow support to be given, contribution to be had. I invite you today to look for what you connect to, what you're present to. Enjoy your day. Thank you for practicing with me. Much love and respect. Namaste.